Hello, and welcome back to Aylin Asks, where I read a new book every week and bring in experts and enthusiasts to find deeper meaning and ask questions. This week, I just finished Macbeth. I have with me here Thana Glanz, a college student studying Macbeth. Say hi to the listeners, Thana.
Hi.
We've also got Professor Macbeth, who is a doctorate in Shakespearean language.
Hey guys, I've been studying Shakespeare all my life, and I'm thrilled to discuss the play. Macbeth is actually one of my favorites.
So to get started, one thing that really stood out to me was whether we were supposed to blame the witches for Macbeth's downfall or Macbeth himself.
That's a great question, Aylin. You really can't place the blame on either. On one side of the coin, you've got the fact that if the witches never told him the prophecy, one could argue that nothing would have happened at all. And yet, you also see Macbeth's refusal to let nature take its course, which is ultimately what leads to his demise.
Yeah, I agree. But the witches aren't the only outside influence. I think Lady Macbeth also had a lot of sway in Macbeth's actions. This is really showcased in Act 1, Scene 5, when Lady Macbeth says,
"Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valour of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round."
Definitely. That quote stood out to me while I was reading because instead of giving advice, she tries to control his actions and put her murderous ideas in his mind. I can almost blame Lady Macbeth for all of his actions because they are so close and he values her opinion so much. She's constantly belittling him and telling him that he's unmanly, which he takes to offense.
Yeah, you really see that throughout the play. If you take a deeper look at her persuasion techniques, you're actually able to see her use ethos, pathos, and logos. She's not only questioning his manhood here, but she's also telling him, one, if the roles were reversed, she would do it as well. And two, and most importantly, she plans the murder out for him.
That's a really good point. Without her persuasion, there's no way Macbeth would have ever gone that far. In my opinion, the witches had a larger impact on Macbeth than Lady Macbeth did. Their prophecies were the reason he went on his rampage because he was trying to fulfill them. We see this a lot in the last act during the final battle, especially when he says,
"Thou wast born of woman, but swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by man that's of a woman born."
The fact that he keeps repeating the prophecies show he fully trusts and relies on them to guide his decisions.
I think this part definitely shows his ratness in their prophecies. He was also so believing of the fact that Banquo will have a line of kings that he kills him. I think we can agree that a lot of his actions are influenced by outside factors.
Yeah.
I want to take a short break to acknowledge our sponsor, Off Your Rocker Blocker. Tired of seeing things that aren't there? Do you find yourself chasing after floating weapons? Well then, my friend, you might need Off Your Rocker Blocker, the only hallucination medication that puts real back in your reality. Side effects may or may not include
fever, rash, nausea, vomiting, loss of limbs, loss of sleep, infections, the plague, fever, diarrhea, loss of blood, and death.
Let's get back into our discussion about Macbeth's actions.
Honestly, for me, I've always placed more of the blame on Macbeth.
I agree. Obviously, I think that a lot of Macbeth's actions and cruelty were caused by the witches or Lady Macbeth, who were both outside influences, but he has to hold some of the blame. This is seen specifically in Act 1, Scene 7.
"I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on thither."
He's saying here that there are no other reasons for his actions other than his ambition. He has no outside pricks to his intent, only his intense desire to become king.
I wonder what would have happened if Macbeth just put the prophecies in Faith's hand. Would they still have come true, or was it Macbeth's unruly ambition that gave him the ability to bring them to fruition?
Time is an extremely common motif in Shakespeare. Macbeth attempts to manipulate time and defy the natural order, and in my opinion, that's his fatal flaw. To answer your question, I guess there's no way of knowing. I'm willing to guess that the prophecies relied on the fact that Macbeth would do anything to pursue them.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It's just like in life. Every day we face outside influences who try and wield power over us. However, the power over ourselves is ultimately in our own hands. Macbeth didn't have to let the prophecies control him. He had countless opportunities to stand his ground if that's what he truly desired. And because he didn't stop, that's proof enough that his motivation comes from within. His ambition becomes him as he blindly murders to get what he wants.
Speaking of ambition, do you guys think that it's imagination or ambition that victimizes and destroys Macbeth?
Oh, it's ambition for sure. The way he kills everyone, all to make sure there's no fault in his plan, to me that screams ambitious. He is willing to do whatever it takes to secure his position as king. He would cross any boundary to achieve what he wants.
Yeah, but you can also take the imagination standpoint. If we think about all the murders Macbeth commits, was it really strategic or just paranoia? Killing Banquo was Macbeth's imagination at work. After all, he tells the hired murderers that Banquo is the reason for their misfortune when he really has nothing to do with it, and he tries to do everything so that he can justify his crazy actions, even if he has to make things up.
Totally. He forfeits rational thought because of his fears of getting caught, leading to those crazy assumptions which almost always end in murder.
Hey, I've actually been cooking up a joke about Macbeth. Do you guys want to hear?
Sure, go ahead, pal.
Cool. So, I would never want to play baseball with the witches, because they think fair is foul, and foul is fair.
Okay. Good one. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. I think there are so many different ways you can interpret it, whether you look at it from a gender standpoint or more metaphysically. I really want to thank this week's sponsor of our episode, Off Your Rocker Blocker. If only the doctor had some to give to Lady Macbeth.
she was totally off her rocker.
Of course, our guests, Professor McBuff and Thana Glanz, for joining me here today.
Goodbye, my people.
Goodbye, listeners. It's been a pleasure to discuss my favorite text.